So today we're going to be talking about 5 ways you can stay motivated. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. So number 1 on the list is remember why you started your goals or your goal in the first place. And losing sight of this can be very easy, especially when you're in the midst and in the very beginning and you haven't really found your footing yet and everything is still new. It's really hard to lose sight of what your goals are and the reason why you started this, or the reasons for that matter. So it's really important to keep reminders, whether that is like mental notes and physical reminders around your house, where you post sticky notes or, things like that on your mirror, just to literally remind you why you started. And this is something that I have started doing, and I found it very helpful. Doing this can't hurt you at all. And by constantly reminding yourself of why you're doing this and having reminders around, you will be less likely to give up and really see it through all the way. And so that is why I put this as number 1. Number 2 on the list is very important, and that is hang around people who motivate you. And have you ever heard that saying, you are who you hang around? And in most cases, that's true. I'm not saying in every case, but in most cases, the people you hang around are a reflection of you, your thoughts, your beliefs, and how you act. So if you're hanging around people who aren't really going anywhere fast and don't really have any life goals and things like that, you can get swept up in that, and that can influence you in a negative way. And I know it's hard to come to terms with this, especially if you find yourself in a situation like this, where you are realizing, hey, like, I want more for myself. Hey, I want to do this for myself. And the people around you are just like, no, like, I'm okay with being comfortable and staying in my comfort zone and, just doing the bare minimum. You really have to look within yourself and really reflect and take time and to really think about, are these the people that I want in my future? Are these the people that are going to help motivate me? Are these the people that are going to be supportive of my goals and dreams? Are they going to be understanding of what I want to do? And this is where you kind of have to really take your time and really be patient, because, you don't really want to be making split-second decisions and cutting people off. So we don't want that. However, I really feel like the people that you hang around are really instrumental and can really influence how you perceive yourself and how you implement the goals in your life. And that's why it's also important to make connections and network, because especially when you're trying to accomplish certain goals and the people around you aren't really familiar with the goals and can't really, help guide you and give you the advice you need, making connections and having mentors is also a great idea too. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you should just drop your friends because, they are no use to you and, they can't get you to where you need to go or give you what you need. That is not what I'm saying at all. So don't misconstrue what I'm saying for doing that. However, there's a big difference between a friend who not only is going somewhere in life, but they are supportive of you. And usually friends that aren't going anywhere and they don't really have any hopes and goals and dreams aren't going to be supportive. For example, let's say you have a friend that, is just, out there doing whatever and, partying every weekend and, just drinking, and you tell them, hey, like, I think I want to start pursuing this, and they kind of just look at you like, what do you mean? Like, that's weird. That's not them being supportive of you. And in the future down the road, they are usually, not all the time, but usually other friends that are going to be resentful of you, jealous of you, and there's no good outcome of having friends like that. However, you have this friend who is trying to get their shit together, and they are, hustling and really learning new things and really on the path that you're on. Which friend would you rather have, especially if you want to accomplish your goals and achieve the things that you set out to achieve? Sometimes it's as simple as that, and sometimes it's not, and I completely understand that. Only you know your situation, and only you can make those judgments and take the steps and do what's best for you. So just keep that in mind, that once you start getting to the place where you want to set goals for yourself, not everyone's going to be supportive. Even the people that you thought were always going to be there for you, that's not always the case. So you can't take everyone along with you on the journey, and some people have to get left behind, and unfortunately that's just the reality of the situation. So just keep that in mind. So number 3 on the list is, if you want to stay motivated, it's important to learn consistently and constantly, because if you're constantly learning new things, your brain will stay stimulated. And if you get bored and you're not passionate about what you're doing, the more likely you are to give up, and the more likely you are to not succeed and accomplish those goals that you have set for yourself. So the lack of stimulation can lead to boredom, and you don't really, want this for yourself. And learning constantly is something that you must do, whether that's through, getting actual experience out in the field, or reading books, or, watching YouTube videos. There's so many ways to get access to information these days. It's insane. So there's no excuse for you to not be learning, you know what I mean? So just keep that in mind. Number 4 on the list is, when you're setting your goals, you want to make sure that the goals you are setting are for something that you actually are interested in and like doing, and that you're passionate about. Because believe me, that makes a whole lot of a difference. And that is one big thing that stands between you and you accomplishing your goals, and how long it takes you to accomplish your goals. Because if you really think about it, if you set out to do something and you're not really interested or passionate about it, you are more likely to give up and not succeed. And if you do succeed, it's going to take you a lot longer because your heart isn't really in it. And I know that sounds super cheesy, but it's true. And if you read self-help books and look at other motivational YouTube videos, the one thing they will say, and the one constant you will see in the videos, is the person saying, make sure you are passionate and you like what you are doing. And that cannot be any more true. And you don't want to be miserable and unhappy. No one wants that. And really liking what you do and really being passionate about what you do, and waking up every day being excited to, check something off the list and trying to, go to the next step, is something that you should look forward to every day and every morning, waking up. And if you don't, then it's time to reevaluate what you want and why you want it, and just really sit down and reflect. And this leads me into my next point. Learning discipline is very important, because although motivation is just as important, motivation is fleeting. Motivation is not always going to be there. And when motivation lacks, this is where discipline needs to take over. So even if you don't want to do it, you will do it because you are disciplined and you are in that mental and emotional state to do so. And this is something that I wish people talked about more. And the more you think about it, the more it makes sense, because you can want all the things in the world for yourself. You can want to make 100K and have a nice car, the nice house, the big business that you envision for yourself. However, if you are not disciplined and you can't pace yourself and really bounce back from all the setbacks and all the disappointments, you will not get where you want to be. And that's just the reality of it, because being disciplined kind of is a whole other, it's like doing a mental 180 on your brain, especially when you lack discipline. Discipline is what you want, because although motivation is great and everything, it's not always going to be there for you. You can't always rely on motivation. And, you know, for a lot of people, learning discipline is hard because, like I said before, it's like flipping on a different switch in your brain, especially if you're not used to it, and especially if you haven't really applied yourself to accomplishing certain things. This is something that is going to have to be taught and learned, and it's something that isn't going to happen overnight. However, you can instill it in yourself. For some people, it may take longer. For some people, it may be easier. However, you know, this is a process, and accomplishing your goals is a process, and learning discipline will be just as much of a process. And once you learn it, you will see the difference that it makes in your life, and, you know, and how you set goals and how you accomplish goals. And although it will be hard, it's more than worth it, and I can promise you that. So learning discipline is, although it's number 5 on the list, it does not mean it's least on the list. And this is one of the most important things as well. So just keep that in mind. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. There is a subscribe button down in the right-hand corner as well. So, and if you have any comments, questions, don't forget to leave those as well. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.